biomedical engineer's job is to introduce technology to healthcare. And if you're ready with the technology, obviously there are healthcare people who can adapt with it. Okay, so now I'm going to do a small demonstration. This is Oculus, and we work with Oculus basically. So yeah, so this is virtual reality view. You're having an access to a virtual reality heart. What is heart? You can see the annotations here. So I'm going to use this controller to control it. So you can see here, this is a virtual console room of a CT room. So basically what it is a mobile phone which has a heart in it, and when I scan it, I can see a virtual heart here, an augmented reality based heart here.
Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see all of you present here, and it's a true pleasure for me to welcome you on behalf of Conway Institute. We have with us our speaker today, Mr. Vishnu, CEO and founder of Mac Innovation. After graduating his UG in Biomedical Engineering from Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, Coimbatore in 2017, then Vishnu landed a job as a junior sales associate, but within few days he realized that his engineering was not being utilized in the job. Then last year, Vishnu, along with his college junior, launched a Man Innovation in Coimbatore to offer the digital manufacturing training to the engineering students. It's a platform to help the institution to build a meaningful workforce in futuristic manufacturing technologies. The core domains of the operations are additive manufacturing as well as augmented and virtual reality. Incubated at FATE IIM Kashipur, MAN is working with many colleges all over the India. Apart from this, MAN Innovation also has offline 3D printing labs across the India where students can get on-site training for digital manufacturing. The CEO at the young age is inspiring and remarkable. Congratulations, sir. It's grateful to have you with us this evening. Now I am handing it over to the Vishnu to lead us further.
Is it fine now? Audio?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Perfect. So good evening all, good afternoon all, and sorry first of all to disturb you all on a Saturday evening. Okay, so basically like Saturdays are meant to be happy or whatever it is. Okay, so like I'll try to make it happier this time. Okay, so that's why even I accepted to do on a Saturday, and like even when we discussed, like we didn't want it on a Saturday, but yeah, like it is preferred to be on a Saturday that like we'll have some fun together. Okay, so and Prabha, thank you for this opportunity, and Dr. Zayvel, again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you all individually, first of all, for being here. Okay, so already Prabha has given me an introduction, and thank you for that. And I'll also introduce myself. Okay, through the journey, and like we'll part it into parts, and we'll take it forward. Okay, so if you could give me permission, I just share my screen. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect. So today we're going to talk about unfolding the possibilities of AR or VR, that is all put together as XR or extended reality technology in healthcare. Okay, so I believe that most of us are biomedical engineers here. Even I'm a biomedical engineer. I graduated in 2017. Like it's been 4 years since I got out of college. And since we started working on design and technologies like additive manufacturing or AR and VR. So today I'm going to try to give you an idea of what are the possibilities of AR and VR in healthcare. Okay. So basically today's agenda would be why me? Say like I always say like you should not go to some like say like today everybody has anybody can do this presentation. Anybody can sit and collect information from internet and do a presentation. Okay, but who are you listening to? Why me? Okay, why am I talking about AR and VR and the story of XR? What is XR? Extended reality. The where can it be implemented? Where are it being implemented? How can it be implemented? And what are we doing as a company? Okay, so that will be agenda for today. That is why me, the XR story, the where, the how, and the us. Okay, so self-introduction, you have already got my introduction. This is myself, Vishnu, CEO founder of Man Innovations. Man Innovations was actually founded in the year 2018. Due to some technical or due to some legal issues, we had to shut down our earlier business and restarted it in the year 2020. wherein my college junior joined the company, and we joined together to build. Today we are allowed to be called as Universe for Design and Digital Manufacturing in the healthcare and medical devices sector. We have been helping industries, and we've been helping medical devices market in designing and digital manufacturing. Okay, I'll tell you what digital manufacturing is. And my first agenda was why me. Okay, so I, being a biomedical engineer, I completed it in 2017. Okay, it's been years now. So as Prabha told, like I got into as a sales associate, wherein I started working with a company for sales of medical equipments. The experience was truly great. Okay, I'm not telling the company was bad and all. Like, the company was great, and the experience which it gave me was truly tremendous. But what happened is, I never implemented any of my engineering skills there. I felt very bad not implementing it, and I switched my career to medical infrastructure. That is, I was into basically radiological equipment designing. That is, how should a radiological equipment be positioned, where should it be positioned, what are the factors involved in positioning a radiological equipment. I was into medical infrastructure basically for 2 years. I was working for Thyrocare Technologies, their sister concern Nuclear Healthcare Limited. And then I quit my job and came back, because I'll tell you why. Okay, so I had an experience. We all know what cyclotron is. We've been experiencing cyclotrons. We've been learning about CT machines, generations of CTs. Okay, like even I'm a victim of that. And we all got that experiences. Okay, like what is an CT? What, there are 6 generations of CT. First generation, what was the first generation? What is the second generation? What is the third generation? What is the fourth generation? What was the differences? Okay, but we all learned it, maybe like we didn't get an physical experiences. I got an experience to work with cyclotron and PET CT that changed my entire perspective towards education. Okay, not only towards education, towards healthcare. I'll tell you why. Because when we learn, or when we are being educated on cyclotron, it is a circle, 3 or 4 circles with D slices, which is used to accelerate electrons. Okay, but when I visualized it, or when I got a chance to work with it, the equipment was truly tremendous. The equipment was big, and I truly understood what are the factors involved in the equipment. Okay, that is like almost 1000x different from what was being taught. Okay, that is the same case with anything. Say, like if you are learning anything, it can be an ultrasound machine, it can be an MRI machine, it can be anything, a defibrillator. Okay, because industries are transforming at a much faster phases than our books are. Okay, so I'm not it's not a complaint. Okay, it takes time to revise a book or revise a syllabus. It takes a lot of time and effort to bring in industries, but industries can't do that. Industries can't wait. Industries have to adapt. See, even today, like, we are all connected through internet, right? Why did we I never thought of sitting at my own office and talking to anybody like this. I never thought of it 2 years before, but today, like, it's been a routine, right? Like, we all are connected digitally today, nowadays. So this is a transformation, and this took place at a very faster rate, right? It didn't take hundreds of years, or it didn't take 5 or 6 years. It just began like at March, and it is now like everybody is having a Zoom installed at their mobile phones, I believe. Okay, so that is why you're all connected today, or you have it installed in your laptop. Okay, so that is when we decided to start working on design and digital manufacturing for healthcare. Earlier we were into training and upskilling, and today we have multiple divisions, multiple verticals. We are helping startups, we are helping companies, we are helping industries in creating virtual simulations, virtual training simulations. Okay, so I believe that to talk about AR and VR, I have a bit of experiences in AR and VR, and I'm trying to build expertise. Okay, I'm not here to deliver maybe like a keynote speech. Okay, no, not at all. I'm trying to experience something, which I'm trying to give my experiences in the past 2 to 3 years to you, and gain something from you. That is why I believe that I will be a right fit to talk about this topic. Okay, again, if you don't feel I'm a right fit, you can obviously tell me that. Okay, so yeah, before you begin, I asked 5 questions to myself every time. Okay, so before you begin, ask yourself 5 W's. Okay, or the 5 questions which I always prefer. That is why. Why are you all here? Why are we spending 1 hour sitting at our homes on a Saturday evening? Okay, it's Saturday, it's 3 o'clock, it's after lunch, post lunch period. You can sleep, you can watch a series, you can read a book, you can do anything. But why are you investing 1 hour? Ask yourself. I'm not going to answer these questions. Who are you listening to? Am I the right person? Do you believe that am I the right person? Do you feel that Vishnu has capabilities to maybe like make my 1 hour productive? And what are you going to gain about what are the details you're going to collect from this session? You will have to have an agenda. Okay, and when are you going to implement what you learned here in your life? Okay, because every day, like if you're learning, if you're say consider if you're practicing for gate, when are you going to complete your gate? Or if you're practicing for your final year exams, when are you going to get your results? So you'll have to be very precise of the timeline and where are you going to implement it. I'll try to answer these questions in the upcoming slides, but ask yourself these 5 questions. Okay. So yeah, I've completed my first segment, that is my story, why me. I hope I did some justice. Okay, so every time I'll ask questions. Okay, like after each chapter, I have 5 different chapters of my presentation. After each chapter, I'll be asking questions. Okay, if you don't mind, you can answer my questions. Okay, so basically, I hope we can continue with the second session, and after the second chapter, I'll be starting asking questions so that we can make it interactive. Okay. Perfect. So the XR story, we all love stories, right? We all love stories. Like even when you are being trained in your schools, they call it mind mapping, or they call it book mapping, or like whatever it is, you cut it into and put it in a vertical state and read it, or like do it in such a way that you explore possibilities or you improve your cognitive power, right? So that is what I'm also trying to do here. So even now, I try to explain my 4 years of journey in 5 minutes. Yes, maybe like I took 10 minutes to explain my journey. Okay, but what if I have given you with a video of 2 minutes, right? There is no energy wastage because it's already documented. Yes, it's already documented and you get it at a very ease. And it can also be structured. When I talk, it's not highly structured. Okay, I try to make my conversation structured, but it is not highly structured. Okay, but you get a highly structured videograph. What if I give you a chance to live my life along with me the past 4 years? What if I get a chance to go back 4 years and see what if I give you a visualization? You can walk through my life. Okay, that is where XR comes into play. That is, the XR is extended reality. Okay, so extended reality is an umbrella term which consists of VR, AR, MR, and HR. I termed it. Okay, like actually there is not HR, it's holograms. Okay, and VR is virtual reality, AR is augmented reality, MR is mixed reality, HR is holograms. Okay, or holographic reality. Okay, so these are 4 different types of realities, virtual realities. That is not today we also have been hearing about metaverse. Okay, I'll tell about what metaverse is and how it can interpret us, etc. Okay, so extended reality is the umbrella term. Okay, extended reality, it comprises of virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and holographics. Okay, so coming into the next phase. So now, what is augmented reality? What is virtual reality? What is mixed reality? What is HR or holographic reality? Okay, I'll give you an example. Augmented reality is a combination of real world plus a virtual asset. So consider, I'll give you an example. I have a brain here. Okay, it's very small. You won't be able to visualize it as a brain, but consider it as a brain. Okay, it is actually a brain. Consider this is a brain. This is not a digital asset. This is a physical asset. Okay, what if I show you something which is not present, which is a virtual asset, which is virtual? That is augmented reality. Okay, this is the real world. I'm superimposing it with a virtual asset. Then it is called augmented reality. What is virtual reality? The one which we are seeing, no, the screen which you are able to see, that is not a real world. It is actually a virtual asset. But what if you are able to provide with a virtual 3-dimensional asset? Okay, so say consider, I'll give you examples. Okay, what's it called, the Avatar, the movie Avatar. No, actually what it happens, you get into some coffin or some coffin like structure, and you visualize something. Okay, it happens in some other world. So creating a virtual world plus interaction, you can also interact with it. Okay, that is called virtual reality. And what is mixed reality? I'll again come to this brain. Augmented reality is real world plus virtual asset. Augmented reality is there. I'm able to cut it. I'm able to cut and open the brain and I see what is into it, what is inside it. When I'm able to interact with the augmented reality, it is called mixed reality. And holographic reality is simple. It is a magic of light. Okay, it is simply magic of light. You should have seen what projectors do, right? What do projectors do? You have a lens here, okay, which focuses light towards the screen. Okay, that is what a projector does. Okay, what is the path? It actually travels through air, and it actually suspends through air, and it falls on a surface. But holograms don't need a surface. Okay, you should have seen this in maybe like what's the movie, like Iron Man. Okay, like Tony Stark does this. Okay, on screen, on like there'll be nothing. He'll just pull up this. There'll be a screen, and they'll be working on it. Okay, it is an interaction between light. Okay, it is an absolute usage of light and atmosphere. Okay, that is what holographic reality is. Okay, and why are we talking about this right now, the extended reality? I'll tell you. Okay, because the global market of extended reality is expected to be at $125 billion, of which the healthcare market alone comprises of $9.5 billion. Okay, which is almost tremendous, with a compound annual growth rate of 27.2%. Say like healthcare contract manufacturing grows at a rate of 17.4%, while extended reality is growing at a rate of 27.2%. That is almost, say today if it is 1 rupee, in the next 4 or 5 years it is again going to expand about 120, or like what to say, 100%. Okay, it will be 2 rupees. Okay, but the market today is valued at $9.5 billion. Okay, so that is why we are going to talk about extended reality. So coming back to virtual reality, this is a demonstration of virtual reality. You can see a human being, okay, or the what to say, the anatomy of a human. Okay, anatomy of a man. Like it is actually a GIF. This is actually a GIF which rotates again and again. Okay, what if we are able to interact with it? This is a digital asset. Creating a digital asset and visualizing it is called virtual reality. The next is augmented reality. You can see me. Okay, it's me standing on my roof terrace with a T-Rex. Okay, this is easily available today. Like this is very easily available. Okay, you need no technology, you need no nothing. This can be done with a Google Chrome app. Okay, if you have a Chrome or a Google app, you can just go check what is what. You can just click Jurassic Park or T-Rex. Okay, this is T-Rex. You can just click T-Rex or dog, snake, anything, and you yourself can visualize it in augmented reality. That is, you can superimpose the digital asset over a virtual real world. So this is augmented reality. Okay, and mixed reality. Mixed reality is a combination of augmented reality plus interactions. Okay, wherein you get a chance to interact with the digital assets. Now we are just superimposing it. But what if you get an interaction? Say, consider I'm sitting here, and if I can create Dr. Jaivel's what's it called? Virtual asset, or a virtual asset. And what if I talk to him in person, but he'll be sitting there? But what if I get a chance? What if I get a chance to shake hands with him? Right? That is called mixed reality. You can see this guy playing. Actually, he is wearing a headset. This is just a video demonstration. Okay, this is not a headset which is capable of mixed reality. This is a simple headset, and it's just a videograph. Okay, so basically what he does is he's interacting with a virtual asset. He has a virtual world in his eyes, and he's interacting with the virtual world. This is what mixed reality is. Okay, and holograms are completely light based products. You create, say you have something, you converted it into light, and you projected it in suspended air. Okay, the suspended air particles are used to project the light. And holograms are simple. Okay, you can make your own holograms. Maybe like we can take it up to the last. Okay, so yeah, so like the where. So now we are going to talk about where it can be used in healthcare, and the next would be how are we going to implement it in healthcare. How are we, that is, how are biomedical engineers being benefited, or how can a biomedical engineer help this, or how can a biomedical engineer choose a career in this. Okay, that will be to the next lesson. So I'll ask a few questions. Do we have any queries so far? You've understood what AR, MR, VR, and HR is? Everybody got an idea?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Do we have any queries, or I'll give you some examples? Okay, so maybe now I'll just ask questions. So I have this digital asset, and I place it on my hand. Okay, this is a digital asset. Consider it as a digital asset. I place it on my hand, but I'm not able to interact it, but I'm able to see it. What is that?
Augmented.
Augmented reality. Perfect. What if I'm able to interact with it? What if I'm able
Mixed,
to cut?
mixed reality, sir.
Mixed reality. Perfect. Perfect. So what if I use light to suspend this and to project it?
Holographic.
Holograms. Perfect. Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. So now we have got an idea of what are the different types of virtual realities. Okay. So the where are we going to implement it? The first is applications. You can use it for visualizations. Basically, say consider if you have an idea. Okay, like most of the engineering graduates I see, they have wonderful ideas. Okay, even I had brilliant ideas which I couldn't bring it as a product, that's why I'm here. Okay, then okay, but today's engineers have a wonderful ideas. If you wanted to visualize it, how can you visualize it? How can you show it to someone? Say consider today my parents, like my mom used to say, like, I wanted to see Taj Mahal, I wanted to see Taj Mahal. Okay, she used to say, like, 2 years before, but like we were planning to move, planning to go visit Taj Mahal, but all of a sudden like COVID came and we were not able to do that. So like recently what I did is, like, I created a virtual simulation of Taj Mahal, and I gave her virtual tour. Okay, even though she was not satisfied, she was not at all satisfied with that, but yeah, we got an opportunity. Okay, so that is how visualization helps. That is to just to see what is there. Say consider you being biomedical engineers, you never get a chance to visualize a CT machine, or how does it work, or you never get a chance to visualize how a surgery is done, or how what to say, like how are complicated things done. Say like example is how does a cyclotron accelerate an electron, how does a nuclear fission occur, what would actually happen. You don't have. What if I create a virtual world and visualize it? Okay, that creates curiosity. And the next part is digital prototyping, or digital mocking up, or digital twinning. Okay, so consider today there is something called metaverse, there is something called digital twinning. Digital twinning is simply you have an idea, you created it in digital. Say consider the brain again. Okay, I have a brain. What if I replicate it? This is an actual brain, and what if I replicate it into virtual thing? That is called digital prototyping. Or if I have an idea, I wanted to prototype it. I have an idea of a smart wearable watch, or an ECG machine, which can be just a ECG patch, a patch which can monitor ECGs regularly. Okay, just a patch. You can visualize it and you can prototype it. And real-time experiences, you get real-time experiences. What if like I'm just telling, no, like just consider, what if we all have, I'll show you a demonstration to the last. Okay, I have a demonstration plan to the last. What if we all have an Oculus, or we all have a HMD which is connected, and when you wear it, this can be visualized in 3-dimensional visualize. You can just see the screen, you can't touch it, you can't feel the third dimension, right? You don't feel a third dimension, it is just a screen. It have no dimensions actually, right? What if it has 3 dimensions, and what if it is visualized? That is real-time experiences. And training simulations. Say we biomedical engineers are say I'll give you another example. Okay, so yeah, so like this is actually the controller which I'm going to use. So I have a controller, or yeah, so I have a pen. Okay, how are ultrasound probes? Say this is a fetal probe, or yeah, this is a fetal probe. And how are fetal probes placed? Ultrasound probe. Okay, this is a fetal ultrasound probe, and a fetal ultrasound probe has to be placed like this. That is a 45-degree inclination has to be there. Okay, so that the ultrasound waves penetrate easily and comes back easily. Okay, you should not close it like this. This is not the way you use an ultrasound probe. So what if I'm trying to train so you are an ultrasound service engineer or an ultrasound product designer. How would you train your technicians to use it in the right way? You can't say if you wanted to train 1,000 people, okay, you can't every time, you can't spend say like send and service engineer and train them. Instead, what if we create a virtual world and start training them? What if I train welding? What if I can train painting? Okay, because see, painting and welding, consider painting and welding, okay, these are much have wider applications in virtual reality, because painting needs, if you wanted to learn painting, okay, the normal painting, okay, the wall painting, okay, so if you wanted to do that, how much paint you'll be wasting if you're learning? What if I have an head simulator and I paint? Okay, so that is what training simulations are. Similarly, this is already done in space simulations. That is, when you are an astronaut and when you wanted to go to space, okay, you need to be trained before going into space. It is not like the first time experiences, but even before getting into space, you're being set in flight simulators or space simulators. Okay, so even before getting into flights, the all pilots are provided with virtual pilot simulators so that you train yourself. Okay, and gaming, again, gaming has no limits. We all know, like, game Pokemon Go is an augmented reality based game, and we have many games which are real life games. Okay, so yeah, industries, talking about healthcare, manufacturing, automotive, research, education, defense, construction, and whatnot. Any industry, but earlier, maybe like 2 to 4 years before, virtual reality was considered only for gaming. Okay, but today it is being used vigorously by each and every industry: healthcare, manufacturing, automotive, research, education, defense, construction, and whatnot. I'll give you each examples. I've already given healthcare, I'll provide you. Manufacturing, if you wanted to say say, consider I have a PCB, okay, and I don't know where to place the resistor, where to place the capacitor, or where to place which resistor, where to place which capacitor, or where to place which, so I can wear my headset, I can just see that it will show, place, take this and place it here, take this and place it here. I can do it with ease, a guided process, because manufacturing workflows are the most human manpower intensive, because assembling takes a lot of time. That is why, like, today we talk about workflow automations or manufacturing workflow automations. Okay, and automotive sector, again, what if I tell you I can train you driving without going on a road? That is an example. Okay, and research has no limits. Education, all this is learning. Healthcare, I'm talking about learning. Manufacturing, I'm learning, talking about learning. Automotive, I'm talking about learning. And apart from the learning, you can also train K to 12 kids, the college engineering graduates. We all are biomedical engineers. We always have this love towards getting trained in equipments, right? We wanted to open the equipments and we wanted to get it trained, but we don't get chance to 1,000 plus equipments. But what if I provide you with 1,000 plus biomedical equipments, analysis, operations, maintenance, etc.? That is what education is. And defense, again, you have no limits. Construction, what if I tell you I wear a headset and you place change the color of this wall? It is white today, and what if I wanted to change it to green? I can just wear the headset and change it green. I don't have to paint the wall ultimately green. I can visualize it. And if we all have that dreams of having our own homes, right? What if you can create a virtual tour of your own home? That is, again, construction and whatnot. Any industry can use this virtual reality or extended reality technology to enhance their workflow training simulations. Okay, so healthcare is the most anticipated sector because healthcare is predominantly growing. It can help doctors, it can help technicians, it can help allied science departments, it can help engineers, it can help each and patients. Okay, so it can be used. Healthcare is a multiple division, right? We are a part of it. We are a engineering part of the healthcare. Okay, but healthcare is comprised of patients, doctors, technicians, nurses, etc. Okay, so you can train each and everybody here. So today we are going to talk in detail how it can be done and what are the factors involved in it. One is virtual anatomy. Say, consider, I'll give you an example. Okay, tomorrow I'm having a surgery, or I'm a doctor. final year doctor, like I'm just doing my 4th year of my doctors, or I'm a patient. Okay, it is called virtual cadavers. Cadavers are something, a dead body. Okay, so basically students are provided with access to dead bodies. Okay, a dead body costs around like 5 to 20 lakhs. Okay, basically a cadaver costs around like 5 to 10 lakhs, and it is of highly it is not of high abundance. Okay, you don't get a perfect dead body. Okay, a cadaver. Okay, so like to be precise, technically precise, it's a cadaver. What if I'm a doctor and I wanted to visualize a patient's heart? Okay, but I can't go and search for a cadaver midnight. I can't do that, right? I'll have to wait till the lab opens. I'll have to ask permissions. I'll have to do that. But what if I have a virtual anatomy so that I can just wear it and visualize it 3-dimensional, which is hyper realistic? Okay, like I'm talking about not the what to say, like the cartoonistic thing, but a hyper realistic rendering of a virtual asset. Okay, and it can also be used, say consider in another example. I'm a doctor and tomorrow I'm having a surgery of a patient which is a highly complicated surgery. Maybe not tomorrow, a week later I have a surgery which is highly complicated. I wanted to train myself to do that surgery perfectly. How can I do a surgery? Only if I recreate this asset into a virtual simulator. Generally the mannequins are provided, it's called surgical mannequins. We do surgical practices in mannequins, but this case is every individual case is different. It is highly specific, so I need a specific data. So I can create a virtual data and do a surgery on that. That is virtual anatomy. So the next is triage and diagnostics. Okay, so consider I have a cancer here. Okay, consider I have a cancer here, but the doctor is not very sure where to cut. Okay, like how to cut or where to cut. Okay, what if I superimpose we take an MRI data and I superimpose the MRI data even before the surgery. Okay, so that the doctor can accurately measure and mark the markings. Generally they do a markings before cutting or before doing a surgery. I can do an precise diagnosis of where it is and how it is. Okay, so this is called triage and diagnostics. How do you diagnose? Even like when we talk about biomedical engineers. Okay, what if I give you a chance to diagnose an equipment which is highly controlled with a guided virtual reality, which obviously need to do a lot of process there. But yeah, what if I tell you like just see a board with a virtual reality headset? It analyzes each and every part of it. This is what computer vision does, right? Like what does computer vision does? It visualizes what is existing. So I'll be talking about computer vision at a later stage, but it can choose, it can see are all electrodes or are all electronic components placed at the right place? Is there any short circuit? Is there any board? Is there any component which is missing? It can diagnose it with computer vision. Okay, the next is rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is, say, consider today or a month before I got a fracture. Okay, I met with an accident. I had a fracture and my leg broke. My leg shattered into pieces. Okay, so after that there is a process called diagnosis, treatment. After treatment there is something called post treatment or rehabilitation, because I have to come back. My right leg is completely fractured. I won't be able to walk properly. To make me walk properly, I need to be under continuous guidance. Okay, for that, what if I create a virtual reality environment and make myself walk at the same place? Say I'm wearing a headset and I'm walking on my treadmill. Okay, but actually I'm visualizing only like I can walk around. I'm walking in a park or I'm walking in a beach. Okay, but obviously you can't provide the air, you can't provide the smell of the things. That is, again, that is into 7 dimensions, but yeah, like that is highly expensive. That is not possible today in healthcare, but yeah, this can be possible. Okay, what if I'm telling like walking in treadmill is very tough, I'm not able to do that. I pretty much prefer walking outside, but I'm not able to go outside. In that cases you can provide this also. I'll give you another example. Okay, children. Okay, small children are very much afraid of getting into an MRI or a CT machine because MRI or CTs make a lot of noise. Okay, today it is coming down, but it makes a lot of noise. When you go in, it creates some huzzy noise that you feel like coming out of it, or you feel like your head is going to burst. Okay, but what if you get in and you visualize it has a gantry, and what if the gantry has a visualization of a sea, undersea experience? What if a child gets an undersea experiences going into a MRI machine? You can't wear a headset, obviously, but you'll have to change that virtual world. So these are certain procedures or certain things which can be done and which are being done. And allied health sciences. So XR training assets. This is what I was talking about. This is what we as a company are also doing. So we're creating training assets. Say if you wanted to train your technician in MRI, train your technician in CT, train your biomedical engineer in explaining doctors with a highly complicated procedure, say like a robotic surgery. Okay, a robotic surgery, you can't take your entire robotic surgery machine and go to hospital for showing a demonstration, right? It is never possible, right? Because that equipments are so big, and doctors can't do a demo, just say like do a demonstration. Generally demonstrations are even for demonstration they place it for 5 to 6 months at a hospital. Okay, so that is how it works. But what if I tell you like I can you give me a product, we can create you a training asset and a demonstration asset for a hospital or any healthcare division, and you train your professionals with virtual assets. You don't need to spend a lot of money in creating demonstration models. Okay, so that is what allied health sciences. Even you can train CPR, right? How to do a CPR. Are you doing a CPR at a right phase? So today we use CPR with surgical mannequins or anatomical mannequins. Okay, it's called virtual simulators or simulators. Okay, so what if, because again manufacturing is a process, right? You think of an idea, I'm talking about ideas now. The manufacturing takes a lot of money involved in it. It is a capital required thing, right? You need to spend a lot of money there. What if I tell you don't spend some money on manufacturing? You can create a digital manufacturing tool and you use it with the virtual reality headsets. It again is expensive, but it can reduce the cost of manufacturing, and it is highly reusable. You don't have to say, consider today I buy a what to say, a skipping rope. I'll give you an example. Okay, today we all buy a skipping rope. Okay, so maybe if we are getting a skipping rope, and what if we throw it, or what if the rope breaks, or we throw it? Okay, but instead of that, what if I have an headset which can work lifelong, because the asset is not going to be changed, right? I just wear my headset, I just connect it to skipping, and I have my controllers on my hand. What if I do this? It actually detects what I'm doing and it can be operated. So you have a lifetime access to your digital assets. Digital assets have no lifetime, right? It has no expiry. Okay, so that is what allied health sciences do in healthcare. And production and assembling, I've already talked about it, where to place it, how to place it, and you can avoid a large number of errors, because manual errors are the only errors which happens in a manufacturing workflow. Okay, mostly like robots don't make mistakes unless or until it is corrupted. Okay, but human beings make mistakes. That is why we go for automations. That is why we are today talking about AI and ML. Okay, so production and workflow, the how. So I'm again getting into the questions. Okay, so do we have any queries so far? You can suggest me 2 or 3 what is it, use cases. You can you please come up with some use cases? This can I use this technology here, or can I use this technology there? Any ideas? Any questions?
So I just want to share some real world use case for I think augmented reality.
Yeah.
So when we see, this is an entertainment and for personalized advertisement. So we watch a tennis match and it's being streamed in 10 countries. So the ads that show up in the boards in the stadium, they can be personalized for each country. So in fact, that is being currently done where India will see a specific ad. Someone watching in US will see a very different ad in real time while watching a live match. So this is an advertisement, and I thought that was that's a very very apt thing that I noticed.
True. So, and it also like to add a point there, it also works with AI/ML. It automatically detects the country and region, and it can be used to advertise. Okay, this is one example, and a similar example I saw it yesterday. Even this is available in what do you say, like I don't remember the jeweler's name. Like I just went to a jewelry shop last month, and I saw they have a very big mobile phone. Okay, they have a very big screen with a camera on it. When you just stand in front of it, and it's a jewelry. Okay, so but even I took some photographs of it. Like you can wear the jewelry pieces, you can wear the anklets, or you can just click on it, and it will be superimposed on you, and it will be visible on the screen. Okay, this is one example. And another example is, what if you wanted to take a photograph with some of the celebrities? Okay, that is again impossible, right? You'll have to either Photoshop it. It's not impossible, it is highly possible. Okay, it's highly, maybe like it's lowly possible. Okay, uh, so what if you have a screen, you stand in front of them, and you have, say, like, consider today I have my camera, I stand in front of my camera and a screen, I superimpose somebody else and take a photograph of it. That is how I took the photograph of the with the T-Rex. I even have videographs of it, but I took a photograph of it. Okay, that is how it works. So this is what augmented reality. Healthcare has a large opportunities wherein you can train in any biomedical equipments, because we don't get access to it, and you can show your doctor a virtual demonstration of it. That is highly affordable, because showing a demonstration of a CT machine or an MRI machine or a robotic surgery equipment is highly expensive. And you can also train technicians, and you can also train doctors. If a certain procedure, if you're inventing a new procedure, you'll have to train all your professionals, right? You can do it with augmented and virtual reality. Okay, so anybody else, any questions? Can I move on to the next session? Okay, perfect. So now, how are we going to develop it? What are the things which we need? Basically, I was talking only about digital assets, right? So we need to have some digital assets, skills required for creating digital assets. So I'm talking about the how. Okay, so the ABC is simple. You need to have an idea. That is any idea. If I'm talking about MRI or a CT, you need to have an idea. You need to design it. You need to you need to create a virtual asset of it. Then you need to gamify it so that it looks immersive and interactive. It has to be interactive, right? If I'm just sitting here and talking like this, even if you don't feel bored, I will feel bored. Okay, so that is why I'm trying to break it up and ask questions so that it makes interactive. Okay, so you need to gamify objects. So the gamification is the next process, and you need to visualize it. So visualization, you can use it AR, VR, XR, MR, anything. Okay, so these are the 4 steps involved in XR. Okay, so there are certain platforms which I'm going to introduce. So one is Unity is an open source, but you'll have to if you're using it for enterprises or industries, you'll have to pay it. But yeah, again, it isn't free software. You can just install it and use it. Unity is a highly gamification platform. Blender, again, it is open source and it is free for lifetime. You need not pay anything if you're using Blender. It is a highly complicated software. You need to know basics of tools, engineering graphics, engineering drawing, etc. And Adobe Metal is an automated thing, and Maya is again used for renderings, animations, and virtual reality. Okay, these are the 4 different platforms which I'm trying to introduce you people. You can just, if you're interested, okay, I'm not telling you'll have to know all this. Definitely not. Only 1% of the entire biomedical engineering professionals are into virtual and augmented reality today, and it is expected to grow at a rate of 24%. Okay, within the next few years. So it depends. If you wanted to choose it today, you can choose it, or if you wanted to choose it later stage, you can choose it. Okay, the next is visualization platforms. There is something called Sketchfab. There is something called Google VR. There was something called Poly has been removed by Google. Poly was Google's, but it ultimately they had to remove because lack of something. And there is also a software called Tilt Brush. Tilt Brush, you can use it, say, if you are a designer, or if you wanted to design something in virtual world, you can just wear a headset and design like this. It will create world. You can create your own world with headsets. And Oculus, obviously, like I'll be showing a demonstration of Oculus as well. Okay, and Oculus is a platform for visualization. So now the ultimate thing. Okay, so now I'm giving you an example. So like I'll just come again. It's Unity, Blender, Adobe Metal, and Maya are development platforms wherein you can use, if you wanted to create your own virtual simulations, your own things, you can use these platforms to develop your own content. And to deliver your content, you can use Sketchfab, Google VR, also you can use Vuforia, Oculus, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the us. What are we as a company doing? Okay, so as I already told you, we are creating virtual training assets for hospitals, for health, basically into medical devices. We are creating virtual training assets for medical devices industry, and we are also creating an open ended platform for students, engineering students, to have access to virtual training assets. Say if you wanted to visualize a CT, or if you wanted to visualize an MRI, how it works, what are the factors involved in it. I won't be disclosing every details because the session is also being recorded. Okay, so I can also show you a simple example of us which we have done very recently. Okay, a demonstration again. Okay, so yeah, this is what we are, and as I already told you, we are the universe of healthcare design and digital manufacturing. Again, I'm putting up the word called digital manufacturing. We're not getting into the manufacturing process, but we are helping you digitally manufacture it. Okay, cutting down the manufacturing cost. So this is what our platform is: XR Studio, an all-in-one healthcare XR platform, wherein we do product trainings, custom applications, product walkthroughs, batch manufacturing processes, and holographic projections, all with an accredited standards. Okay, so this is what we've been doing. We've been collaborating with industries. We've been providing it at yearly subscriptions. We provide it at the subscription rate, and we have XR Tech Studios. We have a tech studio wherein you, if you wanted to explore AR and VR, you can just come over to our space office and visualize your product. If you have already developed a product, you can just come and visualize your products. And XR booklets, we create booklets wherein you can AR booklets basically. Say consider there is an no, what is it? CT machine. Okay, if you wanted, if you're at a lecture, okay, what if the what if the what's it called? Your professor comes up with a augmented reality based CT machine, and he points at this. This is the gantry. This is what if he does it? It increases your way of learning, right? So that is what XR booklets is all about. And head mount devices, we do provide free and discounted head mount devices for institutional users. User content generation, we provide a platform. If you are a user, if you are a designer, you can use a platform to generate your own content and upload it on your content, so that you can also generate revenue. And yeah, we create industrial training modules, advanced virtual reality and augmented reality based training for industries. Okay, so yeah, so now I'm going to show you some examples of what augmented reality is, how it works in healthcare. So you can see a table, and it's actually moving. You can see this, it uses Vuforia. So you can see actually this is not properly visible. I don't know why. So basically what it is a mobile phone which has a heart in it. And when I scan it, I can see a virtual heart here, an augmented reality based heart here. Okay, this is the heart which is being visualized. It actually even pumps. Okay, it actually even shows pumping. So this is how why gamification is required. You need to gamify it. It's not only creating a digital asset. You need to gamify it. Once gamify it, the next is you have an option called view in VR. So now the next process will be view in VR. We'll be visualizing it in VR. I'm extremely sorry. So yeah, so this is virtual reality view. You're having an access to a virtual reality heart. What is heart? You can see the annotations here. Okay, various annotations. Okay, this is a video from Poly, Google Poly, and Poly is remote actually. Poly is not available today. Okay, we connected our own portal to Google Poly so that you can directly get into Google Poly and visualize our thing. But yeah, like Poly is not available today. Okay, so this is what how it looks. This is the HMD view. This is the two-dimensional view. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a real-time example of a CT machine. Okay, I'll just stop sharing, and I'll just ask to share my screen from another screen. Okay, just give me a second. I'll just get it connected. So what am I going to do is this is Oculus. Okay, this is Oculus, and we work with Oculus. Basically, Oculus has computer vision cameras. You can see the cameras. It have 4 cameras. Okay, this is Oculus Go 2. Okay, so basically it is a standalone headset. We also have normal headsets wherein you can use your own mobile phone, but this doesn't need a mobile phone. Okay, so I also have 2 different controllers here for this mobile for the thing. Okay, so I'm going to use this controller to control it. Say consider this can be used as boxing glove, it can be used as a bat, it can be used as anything. Okay, it will just superimpose it, and I'll show you how it actually, how am I doing it. Okay, so now I'm going to do a small demonstration. Just give me a second. Actually, I'm not able to share my mobile phone screen so that you don't get a visualization. I have it in my laptop. I'll just try if I can show it to you in my laptop. Okay, just give me a second. So I'll just share my screen. So you can see here, this is a virtual console room of a CT room. Okay, you can see like what is here. This is an X-ray tube. This is the X-rays. What is an X-ray? These X-rays pass through patient's body to give three-dimensional image of the anatomy. And what is the third annotation? This is the gantry bed. Okay, I have a gantry bed here. Like, what is the concept here? This can also be used to move. Okay, so you can see the bed. How does the bed move? Like once the bed moves, it hits on it. Okay, similarly, like gantry moving, the gantry is actually moving, and gantry rotating. This is how gantry rotates. Okay, so this is certain factors involved in it. Virtual reality. Okay, it's just an example of it. But what if I'm going to I'm actually going to wear my headset and actually visualize it? Okay, actually, if I was able to share my mobile phone screen, I would have been able to show you, but unfortunately I'm not able to show you because my phone is not sharing the screen. Okay, so I don't see an option to share my screen. I don't know why. Okay, so basically, like if I'll be hearing
Can you at least show your phone screen in this video?
yeah, I can do that, but I'll be wearing my headset, so I won't be able to do both. But yeah, definitely I'll show you. Okay, so basically, is this visible? Just give me a second. Okay, I'll just do one thing. I can show you. Just give me a second. I'll switch on my camera, the other camera, so that you can visualize. I'll switch off my this camera and switch on my other camera so that you can see there. Okay. Is this screen visible now? Are you guys able to?
Yeah, that looks like a CT room that you showed earlier.
It's actually inverted. So this is what actually I'll also switch on my camera. Okay. So basically, this is how it looks. This is actually inverted so that I can just rotate it so that you get a clear visualization of what I'm looking at. Okay. So this is what I am actually seeing. I'm wearing my headset, and this is I have my controller. I have my controller here, and I'm going to visualize the CT room. Say like I can see the complete CT room here. So I'm just clicking here so that I'm going nearby CT room. You can see the entire. Is it visible? So
Yes, yes,
yeah,
it
it's,
is.
it's actually partly visible. So when I just click, yeah, you can see the CT room here. Okay. So when I click the console room, I can go into the console room, and I'm just standing. So you can see like I'm actually standing inside this CT room. And what if I wanted to go to the console room? I just click there so that I get into the console room. You can see this visualization, no? The red color thing. This is telling that I'm out of the boundary. I've set my boundary so that I don't hurt myself. So what happens is if I click here, I can just move wherever the places I wanted to, and I can just get into the console room. So now I'm getting into the console room. I'm just opening this door. Now I'm inside the sorry. So now I'm inside the console room. So now you can see the console. I have my laptops. I have a chair here. You can see a chair here. Okay, so I can even sit here. Okay, but I fall. Now if I sit, you can see the CT room from the console room. This is how a CT machine looks like from the console. Okay, there is a lead coated glass here. This is the lead coated glass, and I can visualize the CT machine. So this is a simple visualization. But what if I can visualize a patient coming in and sitting here, and I can just click on patient. So actually we are yet to work on it, and we have it ready, but as the sessions are recorded, I don't want to show it. Okay, is it? If I click it, I can just see a patient walking around it, and I can click land the patient. Patient will be lying, and I can also see the MRI image or the CT image of the complete visualization. Okay, so I'm sorry, like if I'm not able to hear you. I was on. Is that available? Were you guys able to see? Were you guys able to see?
Yeah, some of us were. Some of us had just like one video in full screen. They missed it, I suppose. Others had the split screen view.
Okay, actually what happened is like my phone, I was not able to share my screen, or else I would have directly shared it. I was not able to share my screen. So yeah, I'm open for questions. I have a few more presentations, few more slides left. So yeah, so let's discuss what it is and how it is. If you have any queries, I'll be open for queries. And this is a webinar which I'll be doing it on August 2nd. If you are interested, you can attend. You can just, I'll drop in my LinkedIn profile so that you can go check who am I, first of all. Okay. Like who's Vishnu, and if you want to do like know more about me, you can just get me connected through my LinkedIn. And the company pages are available. Mahan Ideas. If you type Mahan, it is available online. I'm open for questions. If you have any questions, I'm open for questions or discussions. I'm open for discussions, not for questions. I'm open for this is our website. You can just go check out our website if you want to look into collaborations. If you wanted to work together, something, and if you wanted to just see what are we actually doing, you can just click on any of our social media portals at Man Ideas. Okay, and this is a webinar which I'll be doing it on the tools to design a career in biomedical engineering. Probably you all must have been you have a great master already here. So yeah, so let's discuss. If you have any queries or questions, I'll be very much happy to answer.
Yeah. Okay, let's give everyone a chance.
Yeah.
You could just turn on your mic and try speaking. Okay. I have a couple of questions. One is, so I see, tremendous opportunities for both, all this mixed reality and all that. Now, there is a service provider for MR, and then there is a biomedical engineer who uses their service. Those kinds of situations I could easily, think of or relate to. But where can BM engineers get to the creation side? That is, they are not using MR as a service from someone else, but they are starting to provide service. Uh, 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 how, okay, where are we regarding that? How far away are we from that? And what would make that happen?
Okay, so to be very frank, we biomedical engineers are very far from creating it. Like mostly, like most of the biomedical engineers are far away from creating it because we are not introduced to the product design segment at all. Basically, we don't have any knowledge about how a product is designed. I don't think any of us have this capabilities to build our own wearable. Even that, no, like we don't even get accustomed with what are the materials being used, or like we just have it at as a very basic level. So one thing is like, yeah, like there are huge potentials wherein say like today we have around like the total team is 21 people, and we have around like 14 application designers for healthcare. So like most of our assets, the digital assets are created by mechanical engineers, and we have internally in our company, we have application engineers who design applications, say like for healthcare, the gamification, they help them with the gamifications. This is what the application is, a CT machine, what is the application. And there are also biomedical design engineers, 2 people, but yeah, like because we don't have that competence in biomedical engineers, if we have a competent biomedical engineers who understands the design aspects of it, like if we wanted to design it, we can obviously take in people for designing and obviously work on designing. An application is one thing which we immediately can look into as biomedical engineers in XR. And yeah, like we obviously have opportunities for designing and creating simulations of their own. Say I'll give you an example. Say like if we are a biomedical engineer at a hospital, okay, and our doctor asks a biomedical engineer that he needs some assistance in creating a virtual world, okay, and I can provide you with the MRI data, and I'm having a stent, or I'm having an angiography tomorrow which is highly complicated. I don't get a clear cut picture of it. Okay, and if you have your internal possibilities and if you have your internal capabilities to design the concepts, because in such cases you just need to reconstruct the data, MRI data, you just need to 3D reconstruction, it's called 3D reconstruction. You just need to reconstruct the data, use a gamification platform and provide it to the doctor. Simple. So now it increases the potential of a biomedical engineer's relationship at a hospital. So generally, even today, like I see a lot of biomedical engineers working at hospitals, mostly at a very superficial level. Okay, they don't get into the deeper perspective of hospitals at all. So that is what I see. Even like there might be engineers, but at an early stage, when we get out of final years or when we get out of 1 or 2 year experience, we work at a very superficial level. So when we are ready to get into the deeper perspective, we can create simulations, we can start designing our own concepts, start providing with concepts. See, like what does what like I always believe that a biomedical engineer's job is to introduce technology to healthcare. And if you're ready with the technology, obviously there are healthcare people who can adapt with it. So that is what career opportunities are huge, which is very low today, but yeah, it is expected to grow.
Okay, thanks. And
Yeah,
I would
hope I
like to
did some
actually
justice.
mention one example based on my experience.
Yeah.
So the digital twins has actually biomedical engineers have tremendous, opportunities there. Uh, in
Yeah.
fact, say we are trying to create a virtual heart that is say anywhere clinically relevant. Okay, that is drastically different from the current AR VR technologies actually we are referring to. So this is where things move from graphics to physics-based modeling to actual multi-scale, multi-physics, realistic modeling. So almost like a cartoon to a high definition rendition, we move towards that spectrum. And actual models of heart that account for as many physiological details as possible, at least starting with patient-specific geometries, all measurements, then predicting how that heart will change, for various treatments, for various interventions, and then say over a course of 6 months or 2 years, that needs a lot of DME knowledge. All this, biomechanics, modeling, even CAD, CAM, CAE, FEA. That is slightly different from actual just graphics or virtual reality. So that is one area that I would recommend. It has tremendous potential. Also, the moment we try to model the human body that is as complex, that's the most complex in the world. Even the best engineers might be like fall short of its that reality. Okay. Then my second question for you would be, okay, right now if someone wants to learn, they have to come to your you have set up a XR studio of sorts, right? So what is the possibility of scaling this up, or roughly how much does it cost to set up a XR studio, a basic workstation that has decent rendering capabilities, necessary softwares, and perhaps one Oculus? How much does it roughly cost so that we can have multiple centers all over India?
Maybe like it has even today, like XR is considered one of the most expensive technologies. So to start with a single console costs around like 3 lakh rupees, the console alone. Like the rendering console alone costs around like 3 lakh rupees for hyper realistic, because we are talking about medical devices here. So like as a company, we believe in accuracy, as you told, like even to get into the multi-physics model, we find it very difficult to find a biomedical engineer who understands multi-physics for CAD CAM models. So we find it very difficult. And basically it can be done with around like 10 lakhs basically for a single setup. I'm just talking about a single Oculus costs around like 95,000. And a leap motion controller or a controller which can control, and a software. A Unity is highly expensive. Unity's enterprise model is highly expensive. It's not highly expensive, it is worth it. It is worth the expense which we are making it. It is, but yeah, like it costs around like $2,500 per year. And we can also use a rendering engine. Like rendering engine can be Unity, but yeah, like we need to do this CAD CAM comes at maybe like Fusion 360 is what we use. We use Keyshot for rendering, and for most of our animations are done using Maya. We prefer Autodesk, and we as a company, like I believe that this is what is needed. And for AR and VR, we are looking at some other external softwares as well. And so basically, yeah, like with 10 to 12 lakhs, somewhere around 10 to 12 lakhs, a single setup can be set up.
Okay, thank you. And, anyone else?
Yeah. And what? Yeah. Sorry. Any questions? You can just go check out our website if you wanted to. If you are interested in any of this, you can just go check out our website, and you have my LinkedIn profile. You can get in touch with me anytime, and you can also connect. If you wanted to connect with me for any specific reasons, you can just ask Dr. Zavil, or they'll be very much of help. And they're truly, like, I would like to thank this opportunity, because I've been following them for a few years, because they've been a great inspiration for me to get into technology. Even when I have a specific doubt and something which is highly technical, I used to do this. Maybe like not now, but I used to do this earlier. But I lost track of it. Maybe like a year. And but yeah, like you can use them as a key tool to get into the core of engineering, what it is. If you wanted to understand engineering, you need to be very specific of engineering. Any questions, guys? I'd be very much happy to have answers or questions. Nobody. It's Saturday.
Let's Urvi, perhaps Kishore.
Sir, actually, I had one question related to FEA. Like, what all opportunities are there in augmented reality when we talk about finite element analysis?
It depends, and it depends. Actually, it is not like one specific opportunity. Opportunities are, see, like when you talk about AR VR, no, it is not only AR VR. It actually starts from something very basic. The company, even our company, starts with technical specifications. Then we get into modeling. Then we get into rendering and animations. And before rendering and animations and modeling, we go through the CAE and FEA concepts. Okay, so it is a part of virtual reality. It is unavoidable, right? Like when you're talking about medical devices, or when you're talking about healthcare. Okay, so when you're creating a simulation of a heart, you need to be very precise of the computational fluid dynamics, right? Like what is the blood, you need to be very precise of what is the blood thickness, what is the boundary parameters, what is the thickness, and etc. So this is a crucial part of healthcare virtual reality, and opportunities are very less today, to be very frank. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because in India, you don't get the what to say, like talking about India, to make someone understand about a technology is very difficult. Even when we talk about industries, it's not very difficult. Maybe the first layer or the second layer understand it, but the third layer or the fourth layer of the industries don't. There is a large hesitation towards technology. Okay, because an AR VR being an expensive technology, people think that is expensive, but when you compare it with the actual phases, it is highly affordable. And yeah, like the potential AR, I always believe that CFD or FEA as a crucial part to play with virtual reality. Any model, anything. It can be a virtual training simulators, like how fast you'll have to go to crash. Okay, say consider I'm creating a virtual simulator of a cycle. Okay, what would be the impact of hitting and falling down? When will I fall down? Okay, for that you need to do a CFD analysis, right? So each and every point, if you wanted to be highly accurate, these are critical factors. I believe the opportunities are huge.
So, like someone with good knowledge in CFD or maybe FEA would be an asset in the AR VR segment, right?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But yeah, like only knowing that might be of no use.
Okay, so
because yeah,
knowledge is required in both aspects, like the technology related to AR VR and maybe uh, in CFD and FEA related softwares.
okay, so basically I'll just it is not AR VR related softwares, but I always love to call biomedical engineers as health engineers. Okay, HEALTH, that is like I have a few abbreviations for it: healthcare engineering applications, limitations, and technology. Okay, so if you know all five of it, say if you're talking about CFD and FEA, you're going to apply it in a very you're not going to apply it for manufacturing. See, even for designing, when you're designing as a concept, okay, like if you're designing a wearable watch, we have multiple designs, right? They have conceptual designs, there are digital twins, there are design for AR, design for VR, design for manufacturing, design for FFF, design for SLA. So you'll have to be precise of your ultimate objective. So even if you're getting into the team and say like we have FEA engineers in our team who do this FEA concepts internally, and if you say consider, I'll just put you, Urvi, in that position, and if I'm talking to you, you'll have to be very precise of what am I doing this for, or how it came to me, right? You are playing a crucial role of adding something between it. So it will be very much helpful for you to get associated and understand the entire process. Just understanding, okay? I'm not talking about you need to have the skills, but you need to understand the process. I hope I did justice, and I have something
Yes,
on the
sir.
chat box. How does BME engineer learn those skills that you expect them to know in XR field? Basically, there are hundreds of resources. We have programs. You can check out our website. We have a learning portal there. We have an academy where we train biomedical engineers in design capabilities and manufacturing capabilities. Okay. So basically, yes. And apart from that, resources, if you're talking about resources, you have it in your books. Okay. We have it in our books. We have it in our engineering books. Even today, like I go back to my engineering books, textbooks. Okay. So yeah, like you'll have to be so that is what I'm talking, no? Like when you have a career, so this is what I'll be talking about on the Monday session. That is, I'll be providing how to approach a career, how to approach a career. Say if Urvi was talking about CFD or an FEA engineer. Okay. So like even what is the career path? What are the career opportunities available? How should you approach a career? Okay. How should you gain skills? And again, skill gain is not a continuous, it is a continuous process, right? It is a process which you need to evolve throughout your journey. Even today, like even if I'm talking right now, okay, I talked about an hour or so. Okay. I will have to add up my knowledge for the next session. If I'm delivering it at the same session on augmented and virtual reality for extended reality, I'll have to be much more impactful in the next time, right? So probably just give me a second, I'm sorry. So probably like it depends on what we are wanted to do and how it can be done. Yeah, like obviously if you are looking to expand your skills, you can check out our website. As I'm running a business, I'll be promoting my own business. And yeah, like if you're not willing to pay any money, like you can choose maybe what to say, like your textbooks as your assets. Any other questions? I'll just, if you just give me a second, I'll just share a link so that you can drop in your feedbacks. And if you have any specific queries which you are feeling it very shy to ask now, you can ask, put it on my thing, and I'll be very much happy to reply all that questions.
Okay.
While doing experiments in laboratories, can it possible to view the entire output of simulation, like microprocessor labs, circuit labs? Yeah, that is a different concept, right? Like where does virtual reality help? I don't understand that the question, but yeah, like you can do that experiments, right? Like even that is possible with simulations. Simulink. If you are working with microprocessors, you can get the output with Simulink. You don't need a virtual reality concept there. If I understood right, you don't need virtual reality there. But yeah, like I'm not sure if I understood your question, Rajeshwari. If you could explain it in detail, I'd be happy to help. Google form, you can just fill in your details, detailed feedbacks. If you wanted to have some conversations with me, you can just ping in. And if you want a conversation with me, like I'd be very happy to help. You can get connected through Dr. Ajay.
Yes. I'll have one last question.
Yeah.
No, let's take a telemedicine in a primary healthcare center. Where there is a general practitioner, a patient goes, okay, something is wrong with my body. Who is the expert that I should contact? Okay, so that kind of visits, say, happens via telemedicine. Then we need to take some basic vitals. Okay, the doctor somehow needs to use a stethoscope, perhaps measure temperature, get a ECG and all that. So where is mixed reality? I see, it's not just stopping with the video. The doctor needs to interact with the patient, perhaps also collect some data. So where are we on this front? Are there like any real world frontiers where they have gone really? They have made it a reality that is a doctor can do more than just watching a patient in the screen.
Not exactly. To be precise, there are researches going on in Israel regarding the telemedicine, but again, it is at a very nascent research stage. But yeah, like we have huge potentials there, as you said, like because not like that. Even telemedicines are today in India. When we talk about India, even today, telemedicine is something which is highly very at a very nascent stage. Telemedicine is not prevalent in India. I don't believe it. Okay. So generally, like in India, it is at a very nascent stage. Yeah, like there are a few examples wherein not exactly what telescope is doing, but yeah, like mixed reality concepts are helping patient themselves to diagnose their say like the pulse oximeter. They have placed all these pulse oximeters, and there is a mixed reality thing wherein doctors handhold them and keep it here, and doctors do this. So actually, the patient's hand do that, but the doctor help them assist with that. So there is some possibilities here. So yeah, there are researches going on, but I don't see an immediate effect on the real life examples. So even I always believe like talking about researchers don't do an immediate favor, like even at least to students, because researchers take maybe like 5 to 10 years to get into the market, and 5 years to get into practice. Okay, but because as we are targeting a general crowd, I always believe that the general crowds immediate what are immediate goals. So maybe like when we are talking about career, or if you're someone who's looking at a research as a career, or if you're looking at postdoc as a career, or doctor or doctoral things as a career, obviously you have ultimate research potentials there. But if you're someone who's looking into career opportunities or immediate career goals, okay, like research and postdoc or doctoral are an extensive period. You take around like 7 months, 7 years, or 10 years. Even like people take 20-25 years to complete 7 different researches or 8 different researches, right? Researches takes time. But if you're someone who is looking into careers, okay, I would prefer don't get into this telemedicine sector and getting into this. I would not suggest it. But yeah, like there are huge potentials. Maybe like if you're looking at if you're starting it today, if you're starting to work with telemedicine, any telemedicine company today, a telemedicine company is obviously doing a back-end research on mixed reality there, obviously. So even when we talk about Facebook is doing intense research on metaverse, right? Like metaverse is a virtual universe. They're creating a complete universe with virtual reality. So it is with internet, not with virtual reality, with internet. Okay, so that is a highly large concept wherein they are being doing experiments, and Facebook is getting into virtual reality. Geo has already gotten into augmented reality. So there are companies who is doing intensive research at a backer end, and if you are start today, you obviously have a huge what is like a huge exposural opportunities coming up. Yeah, like there is another question. Share the session link. Yeah, I can share the link. If you can just give me a second. Just give me a second. I don't have it ready. I'll just share it if you give me a second. Till then, if you have any queries or questions, you can just ask me. To start with, if you are looking at augmented and virtual reality as a career, to start with, you can start with the basics. That is understanding engineering drawings, understanding engineering design concepts, manufacturing concepts. Okay, to start with, these are the basic things you need to start with. What is reverse engineering? What is engineering? What is a medical data? How is a medical data interpreted? How is an MRI interpreted? How is a CT interpreted, etc. And then you can take it forward as it. I'll just share the link. Yeah, I've shared the link for the Monday session. You can just register there and onboard. Done. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir, we are fine. We have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your patience in answering all our questions, sir. And then now for vote of thanks, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Vishnu for taking time off from his busy schedule to make this webinar a worthwhile learning experience for all of us. Actually, it is really interesting to know about how it works, what is the application in it. It's really interesting, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. And then second, I would like to thank Mr. Jaival sir for organizing this event and providing me with this excellent opportunity to host this webinar. And then last but not but not least, it would not have been successful without the presence of all of you here as our audience. Thank you for staying until the end and keeping the event in order. Thank you all.
Thank you, Prabha. Thank you all, and have a very good evening. Thank you so much. Bye. Happy weekend. Bye.
Okay, thanks Vishnu. Bye. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.